What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's your gang? What's going on, people? Do I even call it a gang anymore? What's going on, people? How y'all doing? This is your boy Michael. I know y'all say, well, I haven't seen Michael in a minute. People say I haven't talked to Michael. Well, I have deliberately decided to stay to myself for a minute to work on me because I don't think anybody understands or gets what it is that a person goes through. People can say all day, "Oh, I understand, I got you," but there are times when you will dial numbers and you don't get an answer. Not to say that people don't want to answer, but people are busy. And I think that moment for me, I was sitting there and I was like, well, damn, you know, people got lives. Unless I got a life too. And in order for me to concentrate, but there are some days where I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to, I turn my phone off. I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. And I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to do anything. All I want to do is just be in my own space. A lot of people are phony. That's just a given. A lot of people are phony. And I'm not talking about anybody in particular. So I was sitting here, I do a lot on Facebook. I do some things on TikTok. And I said, you know what? I need to stop making myself so easily accessible. I have to stop making myself so easily accessible. Because when you make yourself so accessible to people, people tend to what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, I said it has to be more about, I have to excuse my meaning some buffalo wing. I know that since the loss of my mother and father, I have kind of lost myself. And when I say that, I feel I have lost myself and the people I have engaged with, the people I've given attention to. I would normally not give attention to some of the people that sit on YouTube. I would not have went back and forth with certain people. Ah, a happy wife life. Shout out to her. She sent me something. She was like, I watched one of your old videos. And I looked at the video. And as I looked at it, I went and I looked at another video and another video. And I was like, wow, I was in such a different place and space then. Of course, in those videos, I hear myself saying, you know, God, thank you for my mama. Thank you for my daddy. And I realize the person I have become since they are no longer here. Of course, I'm not expecting anybody to understand that. I don't care if you lost your parents or not. I don't expect you to understand my plight, to understand my story, to understand where I'm at. You know. Now, the one thing that YouTube has gotten wrong, people in YouTube, they thought by talking about my mama or saying something bad that hurt me. I hurt now. I hurt every day. Nothing adds on to the hurt. Nothing adds on to what I struggle with every single day. And that's making it through, you know, yeah, I don't think people get how hard it is for me to make it through a single day sometimes, make it through an hour. Sometimes I can be doing so good, and sometimes I lose it. You know, I don't know if people know how it is to be in your bed, can't get out of it, can't stop crying, even when you don't want to cry no more. Any little thing that you watch reminds you of your parent. I saw some of the day with a friend of mine I went to school was like, thank you, Jesus. It was her mother's 84th birthday. And I cried. You know, I've been doing intense therapy. And I have to remove myself a lot of time, or at least isolate myself. Because I don't think people get it. It's not good to be into it with somebody or somebody come at somebody who don't give a fuck. And that's where I'm at. I'm at a point where I don't give a fuck. Oh, Michael, how can you say that? It is what it is. You know, I have to catch myself from snapping so quick, going off on somebody, because when you have a person that don't care if they live or die, and don't take that in a bad way. No, I'm not trying to kill myself, but I'm just saying, when you have a person that is at their wits' end and that is dealing with something that's it's tragedy to me. It's a tragedy that my mother's not here. It's a tragedy for me that my father's not there. And when I don't give a fuck, when I don't give a fuck, you have to be careful when you're dealing with people like that. You can't threaten somebody that is in that headspace, in that mind space. You know, I don't know what it is to lose a child. I don't have children. I will never know that feeling. I don't care if I adopt a child. I don't care if I call somebody my child. I don't care. If I raise somebody as my child, I will never know that feeling. I won't even tell people right now who lose a parent that I know what they're going through because I don't. Because nobody will never understand my story, my plight. And so for that, and I realize the space and place that I'm in, I listen to some of these people, or I see some of these people on YouTube going from one person to the other. I got your back. I'm always taking up for you. Bet not nobody say nothing about this. And these are people that in real life don't have a family or don't have that love. I probably have gained about 10, 15 pounds. Hit the wrong button. But just laying here, eating, um, I went through, I have doubled up on my therapy. And when you talk to some people and people just don't get it, they don't understand. Yes, people come from all different angles. Well, what would God want you to? God can handle it. What would your mama want? All of that is fine and dandy, but it don't change the fact that that emptiness, that hole in your heart. See, I don't know how people are with their mama. I don't know that. It's not my place to try to understand that. But I know what I had with mine. And when I say the hardest thing for me is I can be just going through my day just as nice. And when I realize that she's no longer here, and I love my daddy too, but right now I'm talking about my mama. But when I realize that she's no longer here or that I cannot reach out, I cannot talk, I cannot physically, all that other stuff, oh, the memories, she looking down on you, all of that falls down by the wayside. I don't care that she's looking down on me. I don't care that she would want me to, none of that matters. What matters is she's not here. What matters is I sit and wonder how many people is mentioning her name. You know, I think about how many people mention my grandmother's name. Grief is real. Sorrow. I'm not depressed. I'm in mourning. I don't think I ever gave myself a grieving period. I never gave myself a grieving period. I feel so good going through the day without speaking to anybody. That is my new norm. I feel good going through the day without being on my phone talking to anybody. That's just the space and place I'm in. So if y'all have called me and I have not answered my phone and I apologize, but that is the place and space that I'm in. The other night I think I reached out and I called quite a few people and people didn't answer, but they probably were busy. And I said, you know what? It was a blessing that nobody answered. It was a blessing. It was nothing but a blessing that nobody answered because I wasn't supposed to talk to anybody. What I'm supposed to do is talk to guys. See, a lot of times we got to stop telling people our business, stop telling people what we feel, how we feeling, because a lot of them don't give a fuck anyway. A lot of them don't give a fuck. Me being in my morning, me being in this house and not have left out for a week, have not left out my house in a week, have not put on clothes in a week. That has not stopped anybody else life. It has not stopped the world from going around. It has not stopped people. Ain't nobody said, oh my God, CMA, we ain't heard from. That ain't stopped nobody's life. Life goes on. I could take my last breath right after this live, and life would not stop for anybody else but me. So me stepping back, and when I say step back, I mean I just need the me time, taking this me time, figuring it out. At 56 years old, me figuring out how do I navigate life for the rest of my life without my life. Well, I think that went over some people's head. I'm trying to figure out at 56, how do I navigate life for the rest of my life? How do I navigate the rest of my life without my life? That being this woman right here on the screen, that being Michael Ann. I don't know about anybody else's relationship with their mama. I don't know about anybody else's relationship with their mother. You know, I always say to people, I don't know how people can live in a different city than their mother. That's I'm just saying for what worked what for me. I could never not live in the same city as my mama. I could never not see my mother on a daily basis. That's the dynamic of our relationship. There's a lot of things that I gave up in order to be able to do that. A lot of opportunities I didn't take in order to be around Michael Ann. Come on, people. How many people you know? How many sons you know have the same name as their mother? Yes, I have a plethora of memories. And that don't make it that makes it worse. That makes it worse maybe it would be a little bit easier if I had not been so close. If I had not been so present in my mother's life. If our relationship had not been extremely close the way it was, it may have been easier. A lot of people think, oh, well, you got memories, you got videos. Oh, so many people don't have that. That could be a bad thing. I mean, it can be the little itty bitty thing. I remember I was watching Ricky Smiley. I was watching, all those shorts that come through. Ricky Smiley, he was saying to his son, he said, how many times did I have to come up to the school for you? And then I thought about all the time my mama had to come up to the school for me. The time she said, shut your motherfucking mouth before I bust your chest wide open while we standing there in front of the teacher. I saw a little boy, the parents was in the hospital with him. He was getting a cast on his arm, and it takes me back to when I fell in the department store and they had to operate on me and my mother was there and how I screamed and I yelled for her. And I just don't think people get how spoiled. Like my mother used to say, nobody would ever watch me growing up. That's my relationship with my mama just didn't start when I got older. I've always been that one. I've always been that child, the one up under her, the one that loved her, the one that I knew I was special. And I pray on a daily basis that God gets, y'all. I don't think y'all don't know how it is to pray and say, God, please let me get through this day. Let me get through this particular day, God, without breaking down, without emotionally being drained emotionally. He says, I have experienced the pain of losing my child, but I've never experienced the pain of losing a pain that I think I would ever be ready to experience. I'm so glad that God has separated me from a lot of people. I truly am. I truly am glad. Some of my best moments and some of my best times right now is solitude. Solitude. I love being by myself. I love not talking to folk right now. Because you almost sound like a broken record when you talk to people. Well, my mama this, my mama that. People get tired of that. I don't care how much. People get tired of hearing you say how much you miss your mama. Just like I get tired of hearing people say it gets better. And like I always say, it never gets better. Every moment without her is worse than the moment before. But I thank God that I'm not at one of those places where I just say I gotta go be with my mama. I don't want to be here. It wouldn't bother me if he took me. It would not. It would not, let me make this clear. If God took me tomorrow, it would not, I wouldn't be worried about it. I wouldn't have any feeling about it one way or another. Because that'd be, at least I wouldn't have to go through all the pain that I go through on a daily basis. That would no longer be. If that makes sense to anybody. Sometimes you say to yourself, my God, if I wasn't here, then I would not feel this agonizing, unbearable, unfathomable pain. It's a constant pain that will never go away. It doesn't get easier. It may have for other people, but not for me. So when I lay in this bed and nothing but my drawers, and all I do is get up, fix something to eat, and lay back down. It is well. It is well with my soul. So I won't be posting as much. I won't be going live as much. I may put a short up here and there. But I have to concentrate on me, work on me, get my psyche together. Figure out how to make it through each day. Besides, it ain't lucrative for me any damn way. It ain't lucrative. It ain't like I'm making no money. I've had my phone on Do Not Disturb for, I think, the last 5, 6 days. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to go anywhere or do anything. I was going to go to my cousin's party and I changed my mind. I said, you know what? I feel better just laying here. I've been watching a lot of my old videos and I like that Michael. I like that Michael that I was. I like that Michael. I said, wow, where did that Michael go? Where did that Michael go? You know, you got, and there's a lot of factors. It's a lot of factors. Even before my mother died, my father died, there are a lot of, oh, I hate even saying that my mother and father died, but that's life. See, be little stuff like that. Little stuff like that. You know, YouTube has never worn me down. YouTube has never been too much for me. But my life, what's going on in my life has been too much. My mother not being here, too much. My father not being here, that's too much. I have so many pictures with my mother, my father, and I. and to know that now it's just me and they're no longer here. Just like now, I got to get ready to get off here because if I don't, I'm doing good. I have to see that. I can cry to drop a dime. Y'all may not even know it. Tears is rolling down my eyes right now. I'm good at the art of crying without sounding like I'm crying anymore. It's a part of my norm. It's a part of my norm. You know, death is a thing that I will never understand, never get. I don't understand why it has to be a part of life. You have no choice but to go through it because ain't nothing ever gonna change. You got to go through it. I think I used to be so terrified of death. But when you lose someone that you love almost more than you love yourself, then death is not something you fear anymore. I tell you, I do not. I used to be so scared to die. I do not fear death at all. Because if Michael Ann can go through it, so can Michael Allen. Oh, that's too much. Yeah, God and Jesus can go through it too. I get all that. I know God is a good God. I know He's a perfect God. And I'm gonna tell you why I know that. I'm gonna tell you why I know He's an awesome guy. Because He knew exactly what mother to give me. He knew exactly what vessel. And no other woman could have handled me. Every time I look in the mirror, I see my mama as well as my father, but I see my mama. I look at this picture, that's my avatar, my mom. You know, death can make losing a loved one can be mentally draining, can be challenging. But one thing it's made me do is made me sit back, evaluate myself. Do I want a future? How does my future look? I even said to myself, I wouldn't even be good in a relationship right now because that is not fair for me to put the burden of me being where I'm at in the space and place I'm in on somebody else. Because it wouldn't be anything another person could do to make me feel better. Maybe it's just meant for me to be single for the rest of my life. I don't know. Well, anyway, y'all, I just came on here to let you guys know I'm all right. I'm just in the cut and chilling, doing me, doing me. YouTube is not my first priority, but my well being, my mindset, my mental. It's like I'm fighting for my life. It's a battle. It's a battle that I'm working on daily, daily. right, y'all. Just thought I'd share that. Comedian Michael Allen, I'm out. Peace.